an inquiry-based learning classroom, students are first given a set of guiding questions about the content they will be studying. The process of finding and sharing the answers to these questions leads to greater understanding, personal relevance, and more lasting retainment of knowledge. The guiding questions and skill-based exercises transform the classroom for both the students and the teacher. So, what is the student's role in this new inquiry-based learning classroom? Students are to be questioners, asking questions that may lead to more questions, good questions that spark discussion and discovery. Students are critical observers. This helps them to build discernment skills to determine relevance of content and also allows them to make connections to previous ideas, whether from the same unit or even possibly in another subject area. Students are also explorers. Exhibiting natural curiosity towards a topic helps the student personalize that topic for themselves by finding their own personal interests. When students ponder their observations, they're able to draw parallels between something they used to know or thought they knew and the new information. Also, students are responsible for selecting the materials they need for the job, using their resources correctly and effectively. Students in an inquiry classroom are also collaborators. They must work cooperatively not only with teachers, but with peers too. Building these relationships, teaching students to value other opinions and discover new views, also leads to new discoveries. Students as communicators. Students must use a variety of methods to convey their ideas, whether it be journals, drawings, reports, or even graphing. Students having a choice in the mediums they choose makes the lesson personal for them, allowing them to um, show off their own individual strengths in any given topic. Students must also be able to communicate with a variety of different people. They receive valuable feedback from their peers, and when they communicate with their parents about the goings on in the classroom, they're taking the content outside of the class and making it personal in their own lives. Students must also be able to effectively communicate with teachers so they are able to meet the expectations of the course. And communicating with experts gives students real-world application for the content they're learning. As critiquers, students are able to recognize their own strengths and weaknesses. This self-awareness is essential for students to find their own passions. Reflecting on their learning, along with assessing their own learning, makes students conscious of their learning and their thought patterns, letting them know where they should be going with the content. So, what is the teacher's role in inquiry based learning? The teacher's role is a motivator. A teacher is responsible for setting the goals for the classroom and helping the students find their own interests, challenging the students within the required curriculum. Perhaps the most important role of a teacher in an inquiry based classroom is the role of questioner. Teachers are the expert questioners and ask students and should ask open-ended, relevant questions that ask students to not only demonstrate content knowledge but application and relevance as well. The Socratic questioning method challenges the reasoning patterns of students' thought process, helping them essentially to become better thinkers. As a guide, a teacher is able to provide individual assistance to students. Um, this custom education tailored to individual student needs is possible because instead of spending time preparing lectures and grading busy work, teachers are free to move among their classroom as students are working and help students on an individual individual basis. Of course, teacher as a guide also means that teachers need to be keeping students on task in class, making sure they're learning the content, and also just normal classroom management. Cannot let chaos erupt in your classroom. As a quality assurer, a teacher will provide rigor and ensure a minimum floor of expectations for student work, letting students know what is and is not acceptable. Also, as a context provider, teachers help students see the big picture of the why the content they're learning is important to them, and they help students make connections to their previous studies using previous skills. As an instructional expert, which is the more traditional role of a teacher, the teacher is still the master of traditional content and needs to ensure that the content is covered to fidelity, meaning that students are learning the required content. As a learning designer, teachers cater to a variety of styles for a variety of learners, providing opportunities for all students. Also, as a learning designer, teachers decide when, where, and how learning will take place. Imagination and creativity capture the student's attention and utilize student passions, whereas learning new technologies as tools for building and practicing new skills. So, what does research say about student achievement when using inquiry based learning? Why does this work? John Dewey, considered the father of inquiry learning, and his laboratory school, infamous in education programs everywhere. Um, the fact is, it worked. If it failed, I probably would not be giving you this report right now. More recently, a man by the name of Richard Suchman at the University of Illinois says that consciously cultivating the inquiry process in students can know the objectives and help in the process by giving them self evaluations. Students who know the plan are more likely to be successful. They have a better grasp of knowledge and become more inquisitive. Another man by the name of James Zoll, his book, The Art of the Changing Brain, explores the physical aspect of the brain using inquiry learning. Basically, he has discovered biological reasons this works. The neural pathways in your brain actually change and leads to better understanding and retaining of knowledge. Overall, though, connecting classroom learning experiences to real world applications leads to lasting retainment. The old adage, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, teach a man to fish, he'll never go hungry, goes applies to inquiry based learning. Giving someone the content versus teaching someone the skills to find the content on their own. Providing a coherent process for increasing knowledge throughout the school years is a great way inquiry learning works. Um, Using specialized interest based on student passions and choice by the upper grades, and the interrelated activities reinforce the connection of grades and subjects, leading to a more coherent knowledge base for a student's entire educational career. So, what are the best practices associated with inquiry based learning? A shared commitment between students, teachers, and administrators to inquiry based learning means that all parties are aware of the process and desired outcomes of the learning model. Set the expectations. Strategic classroom management to keep students on task. Set clear boundaries of when and where learning will take place. Fostering student independence. Students crave control over their education and can handle the responsibility if given the opportunity. be sure to provide time for peer interaction. This allows students to test their own ideas against their others' peers and find gaps in their own logic and reasoning. This way, students are also able to teach each other. So, what are the steps involved in using inquiry based learning in the classroom? Step 1, ask questions. Probably the most important, obviously, inquiry based ask questions. This should be the focus of the teacher. We're talking about those open ended, complex, Socratic questioning methods that build logic and thought patterns that will lead to understanding. Number 2, explore by observing and investigating. Building the skills of observing and using your resources correctly. Analyze and describe findings. Evaluate the sources. Prioritize what's important and what's not important to your topic. Communicate and share. Finally, put it all together and teach someone else. Lastly, reflect on what has been learned. Reflect on the content. First of all, do you have the right answers when you're um, considering the findings of your peers after you have shared your information? Do they possibly have better answers? Something you might not have thought of before that can complete a hole in your knowledge base of a particular subject. So, I hope this was helpful in explaining how inquiry based learning works in the classroom. I sure have enjoyed it. This has been an inquiry process for me as well. Thank you very much.